like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
It's Sunday, April 24th, 2022. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 117, Lemos versus Andrade recap. After that, we jump into some MMA news, and then we talk about the Font versus Vera preview show. But before we do all that, Tabor, where do we begin?
With our social media accounts, Mason. And you can get links to those guys in the description down below in our link tree, or you can go to our very own website, thechurchofmma.com. Guys, we are on Getter, Gab, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're trying to post funny memes. We're constantly updating that over there. So go give us a follow there, guys. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. I think we're sitting around 1370 right now, Mason. So very excited for the growth here. We have been growing quite a bit these last few weeks, so cannot wait for that. Also, guys, smash that like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Feel free to smash the like button as hard as possible. Just don't break your keyboard, please. That is not on us. Disclaimer there.
Yeah, full transparency. So, I mean, how do we jump into this?
Well,
I guess before
first,
we
actually,
talk,
I forgot. I'm sorry. We always forget one plugin, Patreon. Guys,
sure.
Second services. We got a Patreon exclusive podcast, audio only versions, and we also do videos as well sometimes. Call-in shows, all that kind of cool stuff. Vlogs, a lot of exclusive content over there. $5 a month gives you access to all of that. Also, join the YouTube membership down below, $2.99 a month. Get yourself a badge, get yourself some special emojis, and make sure you drop those down in the chats.
Yeah, and before we start this Amanda Lemos versus Jessica Andrade recap show, we should talk about why we did not do a fight companion this weekend. Instead, we took the week off. All three of us went out and saw Miss Pat at the Helium Comedy Club. A lot of fun. She had me crying for like 15 minutes straight.
When she was working the crowd, I was dying.
Yeah.
That shit was fucking hilarious. That lady, you got cigarette throat. Like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Roasted her so bad.
I'm telling you right now, like the two comedians who are my favorite to go live to with crowd work are Joey Diaz and Miss Pat. Like, they are the funniest people when it comes to just riffing off the crowd. So we had a lot of fun there. We went to the 4:30 show for that. And then 7 p.m., we went to local MMA fights. Actually, kickboxing fights, I should say, technically. But a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought there would be an MMA fight.
That's what I thought. Last time I went, which was 2 years ago before Big C, Little V, they did have MMA fights, but maybe it was just kickboxing, trying to get back in the swing of things, you know.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But I'm sure down the road they're definitely going to do mixed martial arts. But they had an intermission during it, and then they had a submission tag team, jiu-jitsu competition. That was so much fun to watch, dude. That was cool.
Yeah, I like the really submission-only grappling. I don't know if I like the tag team aspect so much because it was weird because, like, a guy would tag in as he's trying to throw in a submission, and then another guy would just jump on his back immediately, and I was like, man, this is fucking funky. But you know what I really do like, Mason? And we should check these out sometime soon. The gym, I believe it's Gymkhana. You ever heard of Gymkhana? Maybe it's not Gymkhana. It's something where it's team submission-only grappling matches, but instead of doing tag teams, you do your order, and there's an overall weight. It's 5 guys, and the overall weight can't be more than like 2,000 pounds or something like that.
Oh, yes, I have heard
and
of this.
they'll do an order. So this guy's first always, this guy's second always, and down the line. And then they do draws to see what teams goes first. And you could literally get like a 135-pound grappling dude versus a heavyweight trying to grapple each other. And then it's submission only. If the timer ends out, both guys are eliminated. If someone gets a submission, the guy who got the submission stays, and then the next guy comes up and grapples that guy. And it's the first team to run out of fighters, wins, and moves on to the next round. It's really fucking cool. Eddie Bravo throws him on a lot. Oh, what's up, Torrin Brown? Thank you for showing up. He says, what's up, gang? Not too much, my man. I hope you watched those fights last night. We're about to get into that. Was there anything else we should say about the fight? Shout out to Austin Springer for putting those on. Shout out to Vancouver Elite MMA, 360 Fitness.
Oh man, there was a second fight of the night, and it was a head kick knockout. And dude, oh my gosh, man! Like, one, I was actually like nervous for the guy, scared for the guy, because he was knocked out cold. And it's so much different, like when you watch it on TV to actually like watching it live, that you're just like, holy shit. Like when you see a head kick knockout like that in person and you're sitting, you know, cage side essentially, it's a whole different ball game. But it was a lot of fun, man. There were some really good fights, a lot of amateurs. And I got to say, man, some of those guys, it's wild because, like, you know, their debut, their first fight. And, you know, some of them were obviously, you know, getting beat. That's what a fight is. Some guys win, some guys lose. But man, some of them had a lot of heart, a lot more heart than I can say.
Oh, absolutely. There was that one guy who kept on eating body shots and got dropped like 4 times from body shots, but still kept getting back up.
Kept getting up. I'm like, dude, this is a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to Zach Miranda as well on Facebook. Let's go Clay Guida, LOL, question mark. Yeah, we'll get into that, my guy. Shout out to you, Zach. Thank you for showing up. Shout out to Facebook gang. Guys, we do see all those chats, not only from Facebook, but we also see the YouTube ones, and I believe Twitch as well, we will see. So if you guys are there, also guys, we do multi-stream. We got Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, all of those chats we do see. Guys, go to our Twitch. It is much better quality, guys. Go subscribe over there and like and follow over there. We're trying to grow that as much as possible. It is much better quality over there than it is over YouTube because it is built from the ground up for live streaming. So I think we showed enough.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our recap show. So obviously, guys, the UFC card last night was a whole lot of fun. We did not watch it live. We were not live for the show, but I think, you know, you said you came home, watched it last night. You got it over with in 40 minutes.
You know, if we were going to miss a fight night, this was the perfect card to do it because, you know, we came home late at night. I didn't get home. I didn't start this until like 11:15, and I'm thinking, okay, here's 2.5, 3 hours of fights. I'm going to be up till 2 in the morning. Got to get up to do the show, you know, this show. And I was done with it in 40 minutes. I mean, first round after first round after first round finishes, it was insane. So, I mean, it just worked out for us. We got super lucky. But let's start at the top table. What do you say? Amanda Lemos versus Jéssica Andrade. You know what? First and foremost, I got to say, yeah, Amanda Lemos did lose this fight, but she looked phenomenal on the feet up until that point, up until Jéssica Andrade got that triangle choke.
Yeah, well, the second Andrade figured out that distance and got in close, it was over.
Yeah.
It was over the second she got in there. That arm triangle was fucking tight.
It was tight.
I haven't seen a submission like that in a very long time. A standing arm triangle to this, very tight. And, you know, like we always said before the show, man, Jéssica Andrade is scary. She's a top 5 fighter in this division without a doubt. I know she doesn't have a number by her name at the moment because she did move up the flyweight. But I believe in her post-fight interview, she said, I'm ready to fight in any weight class. Yeah. Like, I'm here and I'm ready to go. And I think if she decides to take another strawweight fight, I don't want to get right into her next opponent right this second, but I mean, maybe we should because it needs to be a top 5 matchup, maybe a possible number 1 contender slot because we're starting to run out of contenders once we get this title fight over with between Rose Namajunas and, I am forgetting her name.
Carla
Esparza. If we get that fight over with, whoever wins that fight probably fights Rodriguez afterwards, Marina.
Yep.
Then we're going to need contenders after that. So I think Jéssica Andrade moving back down to 115 is probably her best decision to date.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree. Man, I keep going back to feeling so bad for Lemos, man, because she was electric. She was so fast on the feet, dude. She was landing shots against Andrade. Those leg kicks were so heavy for a strawweight, dude. I was like, for anyone, I mean, I would have got kicked by that. I would have been crying. Those calf kicks were beautiful, perfectly timed and everything by Lemos. And she had the momentum going forward. Luckily for Andrade, she was able to get that arm triangle, but quick fight. Very quick fight.
You know what? I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it. Jéssica Andrade versus the winner of Joanna versus Zhang 2.
Ooh.
Sign me the fuck up. Because you know both of those women are going to have to fight a couple more times, regardless of whoever wins that fight. Zhang's not getting... Well, let's say Rose beats Carla.
Okay.
And then let's say Rose beats Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. Is Zhang going to get another title shot just by defeating Joanna, who's been off for 3 years?
Well, I mean, it's... Zhang...
Sorry to break in. Do you guys think this Zhang-Joanna fight was scheduled too soon? You think Joanna should have fought a couple more times before they did this fight?
In that aspect, I do kind of agree with that. Maybe Joanna should have taken more of a tune-up fight before just fighting essentially. I mean, I don't want to call this a number 1 contender fight, but I mean, it could be. Zhang's number 1 in the world right now. It could be. I don't know. I would have loved to see Joanna fight somebody else. But it is what it is. Like, I'm going to fucking watch. It's one of the greatest fights in UFC history. So if they just made it right off the back, it made me happy.
But again, you also
I'm not gonna
have
say
to,
I hate the match.
You also have to look at Joanna. Joanna's not taking a fight. She has said this openly. Like, she is not going to take just number 4 or number 5. She wants number 1 contenders or she wants a title shot. Period. End of discussion. Otherwise, she's not going to fight. And that's a lot of the reason why we have not seen her fight in 2 years is because she wants the best of the best. So, I mean, it's not even, you can't even blame the UFC on this. You can't blame Dana White or anyone. It's Joanna who wants a number 1 contender. And they go, okay, well, Zhang just coming off that loss, let's make the rematch. And I do hear your side. And do I agree? Yes. I mean, after a 2-year layoff and then you got to take on Weili Zhang, that's a tall order. Mm-hmm. However, that's just who Joanna is. She's not going to take, a Tecia Torres at 7 or a Nina Ansaroff. She wants to get right back in the mix.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to say, I wasn't blaming the UFC for giving her this fight. I was just saying, is this the smartest decision?
Oh, for her personally.
For her personally, and also, this is a person she fought two years ago. Do we want to see her maybe fight someone else before she fights her Joanna again?
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, in a perfect world, yes.
Because Weili's fought her and then lost Rose twice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Weili's got to get some wins before she gets another title shot. But for Joanna, it doesn't really make too much sense for her just to get the number 1 contender fight right off the bat, in my mind. But if she does, it is what it is. I'm not complaining,
right?
Because it was the greatest fight ever. But it is an interesting choice.
But if she does win, I mean, she has a case to get the title shot. I mean, you beat the best, or you beat the number 1 contender. You are the number 1 contender.
And we have to play devil's avocado here because, I mean, her last loss was a UFC title fight as well against Zhang. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to call that fight. But I got a shout out to Joseph Bellotti right here. Guys, we know Rodriguez is facing the winner of Rhodes and Carla in less than a week. So how about doing Darren versus Andrade, classic striker versus grappler matchup? I love that matchup as well.
Yeah.
I love that matchup as well. Literally, you could slot Andrade versus anybody right now in this top. Like, is Rodriguez going to take another fight? Probably not. I don't think she has to. She could just wait for this title opportunity. So then you got Darren, Yan Zhao Nan. Even maybe Andrade could fight the loser of this title fight coming up next week.
Well, not only that, but Mackenzie Dern has improved drastically on the feet. I mean, she looked really good against Tecia Torres. It was a split decision, but I had her win in that fight. I was very shocked with the split there. But Mackenzie Dern is constantly improving, and she's still young. She's still got plenty of time to develop her skills even further. I like that matchup a lot, actually.
Yeah, I do as well. Shout out to Teron Brown. I didn't watch. I was looking at the NBA playoffs because that card yesterday just didn't interest me. Yeah, we went and did some other stuff too. But we're glad a lot of the fights ended quickly because it made it really easy watching back. Yep. Zach Miranda, I was hoping Clay was going to get it. We'll get into that next. Teron, Clay needs to retire. I'm looking at next week's card, though. Rob Font versus Vera. Yeah, we're very excited for that as well. Can't wait to get into that. Let's just get into Church Coin picks. Shout out to Jéssica Andrade for being the savage we knew she always was. I cannot wait for her future here at strawweight, or she might take a flyweight fight. Let's see what happens here in the future for her. She said she's willing to take a fight in either division. So very excited for that. Shout out to Lemos as well. Keep your head high up on that one because, it is what it is there. Jéssica Andrade is a fucking savage. So I put 2,000 Church Coin on Jéssica Andrade. She was coming into that fight at -175 at the moment, and that gave me a return of 1,142 Church Coin.
Yeah, so I put $1,750 on Andrade, hit that for a +1,000, and then I put 250 Church Coin at a +600 on the submission, hit that one as well. So that netted me a 1,500 Church Coin return.
Yeah, I had Andrade TKO by 500 Church Coin, did not hit on that one, so I lost that Church Coin. Let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. We had Clay Guida versus Claudio Pules. Oh my goodness. Like, Clay actually looked really good, and then he just scrambled into a bad position, and then he locked that knee bar in immediately.
Well, he was calm and composed when, he was looking for the triangle choke, and then, moving over, Pules, moving over to that arm bar.
Then the omoplata.
Yeah. I mean, Clay was calm and composed, trying to get out of there, doing good work, and then literally you blink. Right into a knee bar.
Yep.
Right into a knee bar. I mean, I could not believe how fucking fast that transition was. I literally blinked and I was like, boom, it's over. Mm-hmm. It's over. Like, it was beautiful transition by Claudio. And, it is what it is there. It was really upsetting.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Oh, I just destroyed the fucking vibe.
It is what it is.
I'm sorry.
No worries. It is what it is. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where if you give Clay, I don't want to see Clay against some submission artist. I want to see him with a guy who just wants to stand and bang. Clay's just that kind of guy. Funny. He's just that kind of guy, man. And, for people calling for his retirement, I don't want to see him retire. I think he's got the cardio. He's got the hands. He wants to fight. I like Clay Guida, but I'm super biased here. So we'll see what the UFC does.
Yeah, I'm not going to be on that hype train he needs to retire immediately. I just don't know if I truly believe that. Like, I just don't think that's the case. Like, he's winning fights.
Yeah.
It's like Andre Arlovsky's winning fights as well. Like, do we just say, hey, you need to retire now because of your age? But, like, bro, you're winning fights. You're actually competitive. This isn't a situation like, last week I was talking Nick Diaz because they were talking about his comeback possibly. And I was like, no, I don't want to see it. Nick needs to be retired. I just don't believe Clay Guida is on that level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and it's one of those things with Clay, too, where it's like he wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one. But, like, he's fighting top guys. I mean, in 2020, he took on Bobby Green and lost via decision. So it's not like he's getting knocked out. And then he goes and gets his submission win over Leonardo Santos. He did lose to undefeated Mark Madsen, Olympic silver medalist. He lost via decision, so didn't even get knocked out in that fight or anything. And then just got caught in a crazy knee bar in the first round in a transition that was like 0.5 of a second. Against Claudio Pules. So, I mean, it is what it is. I want to see Clay continue to fight. He wants to fight. And until this guy, like, starts getting KO'd or TKO'd over and over, where it's like, man, you got to stop. I want to see him keep fighting. I'm a huge Clay Guida fan. He's one of those guys that got me into the UFC when I was like a 13, 14-year-old kid watching. And he's got a special place in my heart. So it is what it is there.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and shout out to Pules. Like, that jiu-jitsu is fucking very high level. I mean, he had multiple submissions set up immediately. The triangle was beautiful. Then he fell out of that. Armbar transitioned immediately into that. Wasn't working out. Goes to the omoplata. And then to finish with the knee bar. Very dangerous on the ground. I do agree with you, though, for Clay Guida in terms of his future. Let's just get this guy bangers.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well,
why not? If he's competitive still, that's what he wants, really. I mean, do we want to see him in another grappling matchup with someone? Like, not really.
No, and like there are still plenty of fun matchups you could do. Do a rematch with like Jim Miller, right? Jim Miller's still in the UFC.
Awesome.
I know they did fight in 2019, but that's three. By the time they probably fight, almost 4 years ago, because that was in August. 2019, you could do a Jim Miller Clay Guida rematch. Who doesn't want to see that?
Joe Lozon.
Well, Lozon's 170, isn't he?
I don't know what he's fighting Cowboy
I think he's fighting Cowboy at 170. But nonetheless, just guys like that, who just want to bang, just want to have a good time. But I do not like Clay getting matched up against a guy.
A young grappler.
Yeah, a young grappler like Claudio. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, shout out to Claudio. That was amazing transitions he was doing. Amazing submission there. Shout out to him. Very excited for his future. I'm not going to say he needs a ranked matchup over a win versus a Clay Guida, but maybe 1-2 more. And then we can start talking about getting this guy a ranked matchup. Very excited for him. He's got great jiu-jitsu. Love to see a little more striking on the feet, though, before I really go, this guy can contend with the best.
Right. Young guy, too. Only 26 still. So
lots of time to develop.
Plenty of time to develop his skills even further.
Absolutely. So let's get into church coin bets. I put 500 church coin on Guida. Did not work out for me. I lost that church coin there.
Yeah, I put 500 on Guida, too. I love the guy. Always bet for him. Always rooting for him. But it is what it is there. Lost that one.
Yeah. Shout out to Cosmo Reverb. Thank you for showing up, my guy. Nice to see you again. He said, evening, boys. Evening, Cosmo. Shout out to Zach Miranda once more. You did Clay so wrong, laughy face. I don't know what he's talking about there. Did we throw any shade?
No.
Let us know in the chats. What did we do wrong, Zach? All right, let's move on to the next fight. We have Macy Barber versus Montana De La Rosa. Barber getting the unanimous decision there, 30-27 on all three judges' scorecards.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad we're talking about this fight. So last week, what I had talked about in this episode is, one, I'm a big Macy Barber fan, but I bet against her because I had not seen the Macy Barber that I really wanted to see to live up to her full potential, to how good I know she can be. I needed to see that. That Miranda Maverick fight, she won, which was odd because I remember having Maverick winning that fight. but she just didn't look like the same Macy Barber. She looked kind of more timid, more. I don't want to use the word scared because that's a terrible word, but more hesitant to engage in those striking matchups. But man, she put everything out on the line. She looked dominant. She looked miles ahead of Montana De La Rosa. I was so impressed. And the clinch work was beautiful by Macy Barber. You could tell she was a stronger fighter, and she was frustrating Montana in this fight. This is the Macy Barber that I was waiting to see again.
Yep.
And we saw it on full display, man. And I'm happy for her, man, because she looked great.
Yeah, she did. She absolutely did. I think that was more of a thing. She had more respect for the other girls she was fighting, Miranda Maverick and Alexa Grasso. Obviously, you need to respect those women. I don't think she had any respect for Montana's striking, which isn't surprising me because Montana De La Rosa is not the type of woman that we've known for her striking in the UFC, especially. Like, she's more of a grappling, jiu-jitsu type phenom there. But I was very impressed with Macy because not only did she figure out her distance, she was landing strikes, but she was very strong in the clinch situations as well. So, yeah, as you said, is this the old Macy Barber? I think so.
I think, well, yeah. I mean, up until her first loss, like, this was the Macy Barber that wanted to be the youngest UFC champion of all time. And you can tell Macy Barber is in the right headspace. And that post-fight interview, you know, she's just talking about how this is the first time in a couple of years that she's really felt like she's got a clear head. You know, she was talking about peace a lot, and she got her first tattoo, and just peace of mind is just so important for her. And, you know, like, she's in the developing stages of her life, like in her very, very young 20s. We can all remember that time, you know, like, that's a very confusing time. And then to be put on the world stage like this, like the UFC, and be fighting in front of thousands, tens of thousands of people. I mean, that's a lot of pressure for a very, very young girl, you know, because I'm talking like 2 or 3 years ago, she was like 20, 21. Like, I could not imagine that pressure at that young. But for her to be able to come out, to have a clear head, to really know what she wants is just a beautiful thing. And I'm really, really happy for her that she was able to put on a performance like this.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Macy Barber. What do we do with her next? Because she is ranked. She was ranked 14 in the flyweight division right now. So what do we do with her next? She did get an unranked victory there over not only Miranda Maverick, but also now Montana De La Rosa, who she's been calling out for many years now. So, like, who do you want to see next? Do you have Cynthia Calvillo sitting there at 11?
Yeah, you could.
That's
do
a good fight.
But definitely, yeah, after that dominant win from a unranked opponent, she most certainly needs to get a top 15 here. There are so many names that you could do. You know, one that's actually even better? I'd like to see her fight Wood. And
Wood's a good one.
Here's the thing.
Same with Jessica I, too.
I hate to do this, but historically what the UFC does is they take the older fighters and you build new fighters off of them. What a better way for Macy Barber to jump into the top 10 than to fight Joanne Wood and potentially beat her to get in that top 10. You know, because again, if she can go out there, I know, but if she can go out there and look as dominant as she did against Montana De La Rosa and then goes out there and beats Joanne Wood sitting at the top 10 mark, I have full faith that this Macy Barber is a new Macy Barber that's going to come out and just absolutely dominate. So give me that matchup. I like that one.
Are you saying you want Joanne to be cut from the UFC, Mason? Because she needs a win, man.
No. I'm not. But you know, she definitely's got to. She's probably got to win her next fight. Yeah,
she's got to prove it.
She's got to prove that ranking. You know, it is what it is. Like they're fighters. It's a dog eat dog sport, man. Goodness.
Yeah. It absolutely
Condras, for sure.
Yes, the Condras.
Yeah, there's a lot of names. You got Jessica I there, Cynthia Calvillo, Joanne Wood, even O'Neal, Aaron Blanchard. If you want to go a little higher, you got Andrea Lee, you know, Jennifer Maia, Viviana Rougeau. But any of those names, I'm absolutely all in for it. So let's give Macy Barber a ranked matchup. Sign me up.
Yep.
Let's go to Church Coin Bets. I put 500 Church Coin on Macy Barber. I knew she was going to get it done. I was banking on the old Macy Barber finally returning. She's in a better headspace now. And so I got a return there off that 500 Church Coin bet of 277 Church Coin.
Yep. I really wanted to see the old Macy Barber come back, and I said that in the episode. But I did bet against her for that because I wanted to be sure. I wanted to see that Macy Barber, and that's exactly who we saw. I put 400 on De La Rosa and lost that, but I'm more than happy to lose that because I am a big fan of Macy Barber, and I'm glad that she's back. She looked great.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the next fight. We have Lando Venata versus Charles Jourdain. Jourdain with a first-round guillotine submission.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness, dude. Oh, my goodness. That was tight.
Yes, it was.
Very tight.
Yeah,
and it was like a one-armed guillotine at one point.
For a second, yeah.
And then he freaking finally cinched it up. Lando tapped. I was like, good God, man. The squeeze that man has is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, this fight only lasted 2 minutes, but it was fun while it lasted. But man, Jourdain just got the sub, no problem. That choke was death choke is what I'd like to call that, because he was not getting out of that.
No, and his face, his head immediately went red, even when the one-arm guillotine. Like, I think if you would have given him maybe a few inches of space, that one-arm guillotine would have been enough.
Yeah, could have been.
That's all he needed, really. Man, that squeeze was intense, and then he just cinched it up with his right hand. So shout out to Charles Jourdain. I mean, I think we've only seen one-arm guillotine in the UFC history or something like that. So we almost had two there. Very impressive there. But shout out to Lando Venata, too, because he was coming to fucking fight. And he did not look bad. He just, he put himself in a bad position there. Yeah. And he just got it sunk. Yep. It is what it is there.
It is what it is.
I like Charles Jourdain a lot. I had a feeling he was going to come in and get the victory. I do like Lando Venata a lot, but as of late, it just seems like Lando has just been struggling. He's win one, lose one type of situation here.
Really sat him down with that right hand, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
I got to bring this up. We already talked about the fight, but it is a very important thing to say. This was Claudia Puel's third knee bar.
Only one in history to have 3 knee bars.
That's just so impressive. I can't believe I didn't bring that up before.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it.
I need to bring that up because it's a very important point to make. That's so damn impressive. I mean, out of his 16 wins, he's got 3 of them by knee bar. That's wild.
That's insane.
Good for him. So, moving on to Jordan Wright and Marc-Andre.
Well, just real quick, Church Coin.
Oh, Church Coin.
I put 150 Church Coin on Jourdain, and that gave me a return of 111 Church Coin.
Yeah, I put 150 on Lando, lost that one.
All right, now let's go on to Jordan Wright and Marc-Andre Bart. I always fuck this guy's name up. I'm just going to call him Marc-Andre. Jordan Wright, another situation. Just got caught.
Yep.
Just got caught in a bad spot. And
Really
you cannot give up your neck in those types of situations, man. We had 2 badass guillotine chokes in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, quick fights. Again, guys, it was really nice because I came home and 40 minutes and all the fights were over. And I was like, okay, well, that actually works well. But another first-round guillotine. I mean, not a whole lot to break down here. This, again, 2 minutes and the fight was over. But it is what it is, man. Sometimes you just get caught. It is what it is.
Yeah, shout out to Zach. We were talking about Clay losing, then you click the button. Who the fuck was that guy? LOL. Okay, that's the shade.
Oh, that's the shade he was talking about.
That's funny.
It was unintentional.
Yeah, unintentional. Shout out to Cosmo. Got to feel bad for my boy Venata.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's rough.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into our parlays. Guys, it was a little funky because we did have a few fights that we were betting on drop out. The Romanov fight and the Cop fight fell out. So my parlay actually hit, though, because I did not have either of those in mind. So I had Jourdain, Barber, and Andrade on a 3-fight parlay for 1,000 Church Coin. That gave me a big return of 3,255 Church Coin.
Yeah, guys, I got completely fucked over this week because normally if we're watching the Fight Companions live, we're able to find out, oh, okay, this fight got canceled, this fight got canceled.
We can change it, yeah.
And we can change it, but this would just happen to be a weird week. My parlay was Bozer, Andrade, and Cop, but Bozer and Cop didn't fight on the card, so I just essentially hit Andrade, which is just a minus 175 with a return of 714 on a 1,250 Church Coin bet. It is what it is.
Some things are just out of our control.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sucks. Don't worry. We'll make up for it. I do have to pay back 5,000 Church Coin that I did deposit or take a loan out there. So technically my total is around 2,000 Church Coin, 2,700 Church Coin, or 3,700 Church Coin, but as of right now, I'm sitting in the lead at 8,785 Church Coin.
Yeah, it sure would be nice for someone to actually defend this belt here.
I know.
At some freaking point,
Yeah, it'd be pretty awesome. Mason, your new Church Coin total, you netted 2,164 Church Coin. Now you have a new total of 7,164 Church Coin.
Yay.
Let's go. All right, let's move on to MMA news. Real quick, before we get into MMA news, I want to talk about this chat real quick. Joseph Bellotti said, gentlemen, should the UFC have Sanko on the broadcast team? She's better than Cruz and Felder. Guys, I'll give you Cruz. Felder is one of my favorites, man. I love that man.
Look, I have been the biggest advocate for Sanko to get on the broadcast team. She's great. She is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Like, the Dana White Contender Series, she can break down a fight better than half of those guys. Like, no joke. She is so knowledgeable about the game. She knows exactly what she's talking about. Like, legitimately, I cannot believe she has not been on a broadcast yet. And, like, you know, it is, like, I'm not going to sit here and make assumptions or anything, but at some point, yes, the UFC needs to get her on the broadcast table because she's that good, and she deserves it, and she does prove it doing the Dana White Contender Series. I mean, guys, go back and watch the Contender Series of last season. Tell me where she makes any flubs, any bad calls, or doesn't know what she's talking about. She's so knowledgeable about the sport. Mm-hmm. And it would be refreshing to have her on. You know, she's not a fucking, what's his face? The guy. The basketball guy who talks, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Where she knows nothing. She's just oblivious to shit and says really dumb things. No, she's super intelligent and knows way more about the sport than majority of people. She definitely needs to be on the broadcast table.
Yeah, I totally would agree with that. Cosmo said Sanko would definitely be a great addition. And in the world we live in, of virtue signaling and PR pushes and stuff like that,
but it's not
good for the UFC.
But it's not
it's not.
It's not about that.
Well, I agree. She's good and she's great. She'd be a fantastic addition. But you know they could spin it for some Twitter likes and retweets too as well. Yeah, which would be good for the company, I think.
Sure. But, like, you have to go on merit, not on gender. Like, her merit is there.
Shit. Well, no
like,
shit.
She knows her shit. And she just doesn't have any mess-ups on Dana White Contender. She's great, man. Like, absolutely, no. Like, she needs to be on a broadcast table, unquestionably. So
get those retweets, UFC. You got this. All right. Let's move on to real MMA news now. So let's start at the top because this was the funniest thing ever. I couldn't believe that this situation actually happened. I remember seeing it on Instagram. It was the video of Mike Tyson on a motherfucking plane getting harassed by some dude sitting behind him. And then he just starts unloading on the guy in the guy's face when it ended. And you see the difference between the face of that guy was making. Because at first he was laughing his ass off, having a good old time, being a complete douche, smiling, grin, fucking shit-eating grin from ear to ear. And then his face after he got beat up, it was like, what the fuck? It was so funny. That's all I thought. I thought it was just fucking hilarious.
No, it was hilarious. And, Tyson had a famous quote a few years ago, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he says, on this age of the internet, like, you guys just think you're not going to get punched in the face for acting like a bunch of idiots. And it's like this guy, like, if you watch the whole video, and this is what TMZ, you guys are fucking idiots. The fact that you only took a small clip and played it for the world, and you didn't show the full context of that other passenger recording this guy be an absolute asshole to Mike Tyson, bugging the living shit out of him. You completely took it out of context and go, oh, Mike Tyson just beats up a guy on an airplane. No, show the full context. Don't do this clickbait bullshit. Because this guy was bugging Mike Tyson. He was getting up. He was like, oh, he's like, you're peasants. Like, just being the most annoying dude on an airplane. It's like, bro, look, I'm Mike Tyson. I'm just trying to get from point A to point B. Like, if you want a picture, that's cool. And I guess Mike Tyson was initially nice to him.
Oh, yeah. And he was ignoring the guy for quite a while.
And this guy just kept pestering him on the plane. This guy's right behind him. What do you expect a guy like Mike Tyson or anyone in that situation to do?
Mike Tyson, look, what a fucking idiot.
This is the biggest dummy on planet Earth.
This guy is the biggest fucking idiot I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, what did you expect, my guy? Of course he's going to fuck you up. Like,
good. The guy deserved it.
Could you imagine running into someone like a famous fighter? Let's just pick a UFC guy like fucking John Jones. You run into John Jones on the plane, you start harassing him, you start throwing shit at him, like, and he fucks you up. Like, what did you expect, my guy?
What do you expect?
If he beats his wife, he's going to beat you.
Yeah, but even, like, we don't even have to go that far. Like, you could just pick literally any fighter. Like you don't do that. It's just not a smart move. It's never going to turn out well for you. harassing someone and then okay, even if it's not a fighter, dude, like why are you harassing someone on a plane?
Oh, he's just
even
being
like
an
actor or a podcaster or a comedian, like why do you have to harass people? Just shut the fuck up and get from point A to point B. Like that's what everyone's trying to do on a plane. You think anyone wants to fly? You think anyone wants to fly? No, everyone hates flying. It's already stressful. You know, TSA is a bitch. You got to wear a mask on a plane. Yada yada yada.
Not anymore.
Well, not anymore. But
that's nice.
Whatever. Just the whole process of the airport is stressful enough. And then you got this guy pestering you behind you the whole time, kicking your seat, calling you a peasant, doing all this stupid stuff. I mean, yeah, of course Tyson's going to turn around and slap you. Dummy.
Kazo said, imagine if someone did that to Ngannou.
Yeah.
Just one touch of death.
Smart, man.
It was just fucking hilarious. But to play a little devil's avocado, like, are we shocked that it was Mike Tyson that did this? No. Should he have done this? Probably not, because now I would not be shocked if he gets sued and ends up paying this man some money. Because under no circumstances, no matter, like, it's not illegal to be an asshole. Yeah, the guy should have got slapped up. Like, most human beings would have done that.
The guy was leaning over his seat, dude.
But it's still assault.
Invading his personal space.
It's still assault. Like, would we be shocked if now they're going, okay, Mike Tyson, you either pay a lot of fucking money in court fees to get all this shit handled there, or you settle this, and hopefully you're still allowed to fly. Like,
here's
is he
where
going to be put on the no-fly list?
Right.
This guy's a felon, right?
Yeah, the guy that assaulted.
So,
yes, that doesn't help him in his case at all.
Not only that, but you know what? If anything, you know who should be in trouble? The whatever airline that was to allow that tomfoolery to happen on the airplane.
Yeah, they should have just kicked the guy off.
They should have kicked the guy off. They should have kicked him off, or they should have put him in a different seat.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if this guy, I mean, watch the video. The guy's standing up, leaning over Mike Tyson's seat. Like, I don't care if you're a celebrity or not. If I have a guy constantly leaning over my seat talking to me and you know, the flight attendants or everything are not doing something to remove this man from the plane or get him in a different seat, then that is the liability of the airline.
Fuck you, JetBlue.
That's who it was?
I don't know. You know sure, yeah.
Well, whoever it was, it doesn't matter. Like
I fly Alaska. It's so much nicer.
Yeah, I just that sort of behavior on an airplane is just unacceptable, or anywhere is just unacceptable.
Yeah,
like, get that person out of here.
I just hope Mike Tyson doesn't end up getting in trouble for this. I'd hate for him. I mean, he probably owns his own. What's he doing flying commercial? Does he not have enough money?
Saving money.
It looked like a pretty nice plane.
Well, it was like business class, so obviously it's a really expensive, nice. But I mean, I thought he would have his own plane by now.
Those things aren't cheap, man.
Yeah,
they're
cheap,
really expensive. But I mean, still, like, he's got a weed business, and now he's doing hot boxing. Like, I think he could afford himself a private jet.
I'm sure he could. It's just maybe not the smartest business move.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. Neither is punching a dude multiple times on camera.
It's going to be less money than a private jet.
I don't know if it's going to be less money in this settlement. I don't know what's going to happen. I just hope he doesn't get in trouble. I like Mike Tyson a lot, especially I love that he's made this resurgence back in the mainstream over the years. So hopefully he doesn't get in trouble. That guy was just being a dickhead, but
he deserved everything he got.
We'll see what happens. Let's move on.
It actually was JetBlue.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to other MMA news. Do you want to talk about the Zhang Joanna stuff? You guys did you guys talk about it when I was gone? Because it is now confirmed for UFC 275.
Yeah, we might have touched up on it, but let's talk about it again. Because I mean, this is probably the biggest non-title fight announcement this year, or will be this year in its entirety. You have Lele Zhang versus Joanna 2. Are you kidding me or what? This is confirmed for UFC 275. And Dana White in the post-fight press conference a week ago, I want to say it was a week ago, one of the reporters asked, so is this going to be a 3-round fight or a 5-round fight, Dana? Because we really got to know. Because obviously the first fight was a 5-round fight, and it was absolutely incredible. And Dana looks at him and gives one of his Dana grins, and he goes, do you want it to be 5 fights? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. He goes, we'll make it 5 fights. Or we'll make it 5 rounds.
Fights?
5 fights, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that too.
Freudian slip. Whatever.
That's 3 out of 5.
Yeah, dude. Whatever. But 5 rounds. But yeah, he says, yeah, we'll make it 5 rounds. So I'm very excited.
I don't know if it is 5 rounds or not. I haven't seen anything of people confirming it is 5 rounds.
But if Dana White says it's 5 rounds, it's 5 rounds. That's what he said.
Well, now it's official, so hopefully they would have announced it by now. Everything I'm seeing is saying that it might be 3 rounds. I haven't yet to hear that. Hopefully I am wrong because I want to see this over 5 rounds.
Let me see if I can search on the website.
Go ahead and Google that real quick. But let's just talk about the matchup. So Zhang's coming off the losses to Rose twice. Joanna's coming off of a 2.5, almost 3-year layoff, essentially. So, like, is this going to be a repeat of the first fight? Is Joanna ready for this fight right away, or should she have taken a different fight before taking this one? We did kind of touch up on this earlier, but like, is Joanna going to be ready for this? Because Zhang stayed active. She's fought in the top girls in the world, and Joanna has been on vacation essentially and been doing a lot of other stuff. She was doing a lot of TV over in Poland. Like, will she be ready for this matchup come June?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a long layoff since her last fight against Weili Zhang, but. You know, Joanna is just one of those fighters. We talked about this a little bit off air before we started the podcast. But look, Joanna, this is not the UFC's fault or anything like that. Like, Joanna is that girl who says, I want a number one contender fight or I want a title fight. I am past fighting a top 5 fighter. I want to be right in the mix no matter where I am. So with Joanna, it makes perfect sense for her because she goes out there and beats Weili Zhang. You know, she's right there for that number one contender. Maybe have to fight one more time before a title shot, but it works for Joanna. As far as will she have octagon rust, yeah, there is potential for that. But I know Joanna. We all know Joanna. I don't think she would take a fight unless she was absolutely ready to rock and roll. And I just can't wait for this.
And she's definitely training. It's not like she's just coming off the couch. She's definitely been training for this matchup, obviously. So hopefully she is ready. Hopefully this isn't too soon. Remember, she did come off a long layoff before the Zhang fight as well. So you never know. Yeah. You never know. She's still top girl in the world, so I'm very excited for that matchup. Cannot wait. Hopefully it is, even if it's just half the fight that we got the first time, we're still in for an incredible matchup, guys. I'm very excited for that. Anything, Devin?
Who do you guys got in the rematch?
Ooh, right off the top of my head?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it right now. Early picks. We do not have to stick by them, but early picks.
Probably Zhang again.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I had to put my money on it right now, I'd probably pick Zhang just because she's been more active.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I'm going to go with Joanna just for fun. That's probably how we're going to actually end up betting church coin bets. I would love to see the line on this fight. I'm sure it'll come out if it has not come out already, but it's got to be essentially even money. I mean, I could not imagine Weili Zhang being like a minus 195 or something like that.
That'd be insane. And if she was, I'd bet the house on fucking Joanna right now. Yeah, I thought she was so close. Like, it was so close. Like, you go back and watch that fight even now today, I'd still like, I don't fucking know. Like, it was 2-2, and then I don't fucking know. I thought Joanna won the fight. Watch it again. Zhang won that fight. Watch it again. Joanna won the fight. Who knows? I'm just very excited for the matchup. Definitely asterisking that one for the future.
Absolutely.
I think they got to update the 275 since
on the website.
Yeah, since Whitaker pulled out against Vettori. Maybe
I think it's 3 rounds.
Maybe they move Vettori to 274.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, this fight's 5 rounds.
Yeah, I agree with Mason. I agree with you.
Yeah, this fight is.
I just haven't. He said he would work it. He didn't say the words, I'm going to make it 5. No, he did not. He got asked, is this fight going to be 5 rounds? He goes, did you want it to be 5 rounds? He goes, yes, please.
We will make it 5 rounds.
He did not say those words. He said, we'll see what we could do.
Pull it up,
That's what
Jamie.
he said. He did not say those words specifically.
Pull it up.
So I think you're remembering that. I hope it's 5 rounds. I'm on the bandwagon with you guys. I really do, but I don't think it is. Let's move on to other MMA news. Fury versus White. Did you watch the highlights at all? It was a pretty nasty uppercut in the 6th round to finish Dillian White. Then, the reason why we're talking about it, in Fury's post-fight speech, he called Francis Ngannou into the ring.
Yeah, he brought Ngannou over. Ngannou looked a little awkward standing next to him, I got to say. But they're really trying to make this fight, except it's going to be an exhibition fight instead of a professional fight, is what you were telling me, Devin.
Well, Francis said that he wants it to be a special rules fight where it's in the ring, a boxing fight, but it's with MMA gloves. And I'm thinking, like, Fury ain't going to fucking do that. No. And maybe even if he did, I'd still take Fury in that fight in a boxing match.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. If you're going to box, just put on the boxing gloves, make it a boxing fight. I don't want to see anything else, man. I really don't. I don't want to see any special MMA rules or any of that nonsense.
Yeah, Joseph in the chat went, Dear Dana White, pay your fighters. We want Ngannou versus Jones, not Fury versus Ngannou. Yes, but we know why they're trying to make this fight. Both Tyson Fury and Ngannou know it's a massive, massive payday. And you could sell out, like he just sold out a stadium, a soccer stadium. I don't know where it was. It was somewhere in London or the UK, obviously, but they could do that again. They could sell out a stadium with that fight easily. You could probably do it in America and it'd still sell out. Ngannou versus Fury?
There were 94,000 people, Fury versus White.
That's crazy.
I guarantee you get 100,000 people to watch Ngannou versus Fury. There's no doubt in my mind that that fight sells, and it sells massively. You have the UFC heavyweight champion of the world against Tyson Fury, one of the greatest heavyweight boxing champions of the world. Absolutely, yeah. You could sell that place out, no problem. It doesn't matter where in the world.
Is that what you want to see, though? Like, I know we've talked about this a lot already, but is that what you want? Do you want to see Francis and Ngannou
I'll
box
say this.
Tyson Fury? Other than saying you love Francis and you want him to get paid?
No.
But like combat sports wise, like, do you want to see that?
I'll say yes. And this is the reason why. Here's my theory of the case here. I will say yes because I want Ngannou to get back into the UFC. And once he gets this big money fight, it's the same way with Conor or anything else. Once he gets his boxing fight, it's a big old fight for him. He makes a lot of cheddar. He's more than likely coming back to the UFC, especially when Tyson Fury goes out there and if he completely outclasses Ngannou, Ngannou will then realize, okay, my career is in the UFC. He comes back to the UFC and then fights for the heavyweight championship of the world again and does not continue on this boxing fiasco. Because I know you, me, Devin, we all see Tyson Fury. I'm picking Tyson Fury in that fight. I love Francis Ngannou, but Tyson Fury is the best boxer, heavyweight boxer in the world right now. I mean, no one can question that. And if you do, it's just crazy. Mm-hmm. So for me, yes, I do want to see this fight happen so Ngannou can come back to the UFC and fight for his heavyweight title.
I like that take. I just think it's a really optimistic one. Is it realistic? I don't know. Because we have to see what happens with the negotiations here, with the contract negotiations. If Francis just waits out, if everything goes sour, if they have a bad relationship with the UFC, and then Francis goes and fights Fury, let's just say he makes $15 million on that fight, $20 million on that fight. Would you be shocked if he just retired and just was like, I'm done fighting, period? Why take the damage? Am my family set? I can move back to Africa and live like a fucking king for the rest of my life?
I mean, if he's going to retire, he's going to retire no matter what. But I mean, Ngannou, yeah, I guess he could retire, but I don't foresee that. I think like at that point, you're talking about legacy and everything he's worked for. I don't know if like a $15 million payday and he's like, okay, I'm done fighting. And like, why not continue to fight? You're healthy. You're the heavyweight champion of the world. Why not try to make even more
And he's not taking
money?
damage too.
Yeah.
So that's also an asterisk there, a factor that you got to put into the equation. I don't know. I'd love for him to just go make his money, then come back to UFC. I just don't think that's what happens. I think he's going to make his money and either he keeps fighting in boxing. Like, you could do, let's just say he gets completely pieced up by Fury. Then you could do Deontay Wilder versus Francis Ngannou, make another $15 million. Like, he could just keep taking these one-off fights and making shit tons of money and walking away. Like, I almost think that's more realistic.
Yeah, maybe.
Unfortunately, and it sucks to say, because I want to see Francis Ngannou defend his heavyweight title here inside the UFC. I'd love to see him versus John Jones. I'd love to see him versus Miocic 3, the trilogy, to figure out who truly is the best of the best there. It's probably Francis, but we all know, we don't know what's going to happen, guys, and it's a little depressing.
Well, and that's the thing, too. That's why I don't think Ngannou is going to retire if he does get that Tyson Fury fight, because he's got options. So if you do make that Stipe versus John Jones heavyweight fight, if Stipe wins, you do the trilogy. Ngannou knows he can beat Stipe again. He just knocked him out in the second fight. He knows he can beat him. Or John Jones wins a consensus GOAT. Ngannou's got a huge opportunity to fight one of the best, if not the best fighter to ever grace the octagon in John Jones. And to be able to be the first guy to really defeat him and not by a DQ, but actually defeat John Jones would be huge for his career. It would be huge for his legacy. And Francis Ngannou would be the biggest star in the UFC and would get massive paydays. He would be forced to. It would be the same situation as like on a smaller scale, but a Conor McGregor, where he would be making a couple million a fight.
Yeah.
So, from what I found without trying to interrupt listening to it, which we will do later, the reporter asked if the fight was going to be a main event, 5-rounder. Dana White said, "Do you want me to make it 5 rounds?" And then he said, "We'll work on that."
Yeah, that's what he said.
So both of you were wrong.
Well, I just knew he didn't say we'll make it 5 rounds for sure. So I just don't know.
It'll be 5 rounds.
I hope so. I fucking hope so.
But It is going to be 5 rounds because he said we'll work on that. And when Dana says we'll work on that, that means yes.
5 rounds.
You take it for his word for it.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be 5 rounds. I'd be shocked. Like, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. And we have seen the UFC do that. You know, in an Nate Diaz situation where it'll be 5 rounds against Leon Edwards. If you can make that freaking fight 5 rounds to do that for Nate Diaz, you're not going to make one of the greatest fights in UFC history 5 rounds.
Yeah, but do they want to make it 5 rounds? Not the UFC, but the girls themselves. Like, would they want to take a 5-round
yes,
fight?
they would.
I think Zhang would, but Joanna for a first fight back, maybe. I don't know. I think both of them would say yes, actually.
Yeah, I mean, literally,
think about it.
Again, you're talking about legacy, right? For one of the greatest fights to ever happen. If I was that fighter and that fight was so good, win or lose, I would want to go 5 rounds and bang again for another 5 rounds. So, I mean, but then again, I'm not the one getting punched in the face. But.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to other MMA news. So we have Dustin went on Twitter, Dustin Poirier, and said, I need to fight. Anyone right now? I'm ready to fight. And Gilbert Burns got back in his mentions. 170, question mark? Because Dustin has been talking about moving up.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on that?
So I don't hate the matchup. And if Dustin wants to move up to 170, that's great. But here's the thing that frustrates me, okay? Dustin Poirier hates Colby Covington, and I understand why. You know, ATT, training together, Colby's a dickhead, blah, 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 from Dustin. I get all of that. Mm-hmm. But don't sit here and say, no, I'm not going to take on a guy like Colby Covington, but you're somewhat agreeing to maybe a potential fight at 170 against Gilbert Burns. Like, bro, you need to fight Colby Covington. The beef is there. The beef is there.
Mm-hmm. It sells, main event.
It sells. Like, that's the fight. If Dustin's going to move up to 170, that's the fight to make.
And he wins, he's getting a title shot.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Right. So you're right in contention right away.
And it's a good matchup. Let's be real. Both of these men, all 3 of these men are 165ers. Dustin, Colby, and Gilbert Burns. They're 165ers. They're not true 170s. So I love all 3 of those I love all of those matchups, really. Even Gilbert versus Colby is a fucking fantastic fight as well.
You don't think Gilbert's...
I think he's a 165er.
Really?
Yeah. I think he makes one. He's big. He's a big guy, but remember, he fought at 155. I was at that fight that Dan Hooker knocked him the fuck out.
So you think he doesn't belong at 170?
I think 170 is a perfect weight class for him, but I think he could easily cut that 5 extra pounds. Like, I just don't think he's as big as like a Kamaru Usman. Like, Kamaru Usman's not making 165. He'd be much more comfortable at 175. Maybe Burns is a 175er. I don't know. If they had that division,
he looks fucking big, man.
He is big. He is big.
I feel like he walks around maybe like at...
He was still big at 155 too.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think he's a 165er. So Dustin, I think, actually slots in very well with both of these men. Very excited. I just hope Dustin does get a fight. I don't think he's going to cut the weight to 155 again, so I would not be shocked if he's matched up with either of those men. Would you rather see Chimaev Colby, though? Or Dustin Colby?
No, definitely. Oh, God, that's so fuck. So
they're both good.
Did you just nut, Mason?
Well, yeah, a little bit. Because, man, the rivalry between Dustin and Colby, I really want to see. Because those guys genuinely hate each other. And Colby has, called him Louisiana trash and all of this terrible things, said his wife is a hoe.
And called him
a bad father.
Called him a nerd and virgin, yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, Colby said some pretty bad things about Dustin. And Dustin, you can tell, like in that interview, I forget who was interviewing him. It was Megan O'Leary or Laura Sanko. It was someone, but they brought up Colby Covington and that potential, and you saw
he just shut down immediately.
You saw his butthole clench, and you saw his teeth grit, and he was like, "Don't talk about that guy. I'm already mad." And his face turns red, and like you don't see that from Dustin. Dustin's a pretty nice guy overall, but you can tell he really genuinely hates Colby Covington.
Then so fight the guy.
I would love the matchup. I would love that. But I think more realistically, we're going to see Hamzat versus Colby. And that fight still intrigues the hell out of me because Hamzat wins that, obviously, title shot. If Colby wins it,
you kind of have to
give him the title shot.
So what if, I don't know what Dustin's show money is, but if we were able to give him, I don't know, closer to what a champ might make, do you think that would be enough of an incentive to have him fight Colby?
I don't think he wants Colby.
Yeah, I don't think he wants Colby.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't want Colby. But what will it take for him to fight Colby? If he's truly wanting to move up to 170, it's an inevitable fight because Colby's always going to be top 5.
Yeah,
no matter what.
I don't think Dustin moves up to 170. if I'm being honest. I just don't. I don't think Dustin
I think there
wants
should
that.
be a 165 division like we all do.
I know.
But look,
It's never
it's not going to happen. You know, as long as Danny's in charge. Hopefully I'm wrong in the future, but as of right now. So inevitably he's going to have to fight Colby at 170. How much money would it take for him to fight Colby?
$500,000. $500,000 show.
If not more, yeah.
I mean, that's what Colby
So then let's
usually
do
makes.
it, UFC. Let's do it. You know what's going to happen if he's truly moving up to 170 and never going back down to 155. Do it.
Yeah. Pay him. Pay the man. Yeah. Let's move on to other MMA news. Let's get through these two quick so we can go on to our preview show. Dan Hardy versus Diego Sanchez was made for a boxing match. Does anyone care?
Nope.
Terrible matchup. Don't give a shit. Let's move on to other MMA news. RDA is looking for a fight now. Hooker and Faziev have risen their hands. Hooker's probably coming back up to 155. Didn't like the 145 cut, and then didn't get finished by Arnold Allen there in the first round. So I wouldn't be shocked if they made that fight, but I like the Faziev fight a lot more. Let's remake that one. That's what was supposed to happen originally a few months ago.
Yeah.
So I think Faziev is in much better position to get that fight with RDA than anyone else right now. Maybe Arman Saryukian, or the people are saying Saryukian should get that fight as well. So I'm very intrigued.
Yeah. I agree with you. I like the Faziev fight better than I like the Hooker fight. I have a lot of respect for Hooker. He takes the best of the best on, but I need him to fight someone that isn't as high ranked as RDA.
Maybe unranked.
Yeah, maybe unranked. Yeah. No disrespect to him. And you know what? If anything, I need him to take some time off.
Yeah.
I need him not to fight for a year because I like Hooker and I want to see him have a long, successful career in the UFC, but he just got TKO'd by Arnold Allen. I just don't want to see the guy fight this year. I want him to be healthy. I want him to recover. I want him to train more, and I want him to be back better than ever. So he needs to take a year off, and maybe by then the rankings will change a little bit. You can take on a guy like Diego Ferreira or something. But
until then,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's move on to our preview show. Fight Companion this weekend, guys. We will be in studio for this one. It is a very highly anticipated main event between Rob Font and Chito Vera. Let's start here at the top as we always do. Rob Font's coming in this fight at a minus 142 plus 120. Marlon, Chito Vera. Mason, do you like this matchup? Do you agree with this line? What are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like the matchup quite a bit, actually. Marlon Vera's been on a bit of a tear. Rob Font did have that setback in his last fight. But, this is going to be a fun main event. And thank God we don't have heavyweights main eventing again. And
Wait,
no
you mean you wouldn't
disrespect.
want to see Andre Arlovsky, Jake Collier for 5 rounds?
No, I think that the co-main's great for that in a 3-round slot, but please do not give me a 5-round fight, another one for heavyweights right now, unless it's a title fight or a number 1 contender. But yeah, I mean, Rob Font, he's been one of those guys. He'll go on a really good streak, and then he just comes up a little bit short against
the
a top
Aldo fight
contender.
was fucking rough
That
for him.
Aldo fight, man, and that was the fight that he needed to win to really be in line for the next title fight. Chito Vera, Marlon Vera has looked great as of late. Obviously, that crazy knockout against Frankie Edgar, and then that decision win over David Grant. That's all in 2020, in 2021, excuse me, and then 2020. He had the no contest against Sugar Sean O'Malley. That's why Sugar Sean is still undefeated. No, beat Sugar Sean O'Malley as well. But the last loss again was against Jose Aldo. So I really enjoy this matchup. These guys are going to be throwing hands. I foresee it being primarily a striking matchup. But as far as a winner, this one's hard for me to pick, but I really like the range and I like the striking style of Rob Font. I think he's got one of the best jabs in the UFC, and I think Rob Font will get the job done. But would I be shocked if Marlon has one of those powerful overhand rights that he throws and KOs Rob Font?
Yeah, or a crazy head kick or something?
Yeah, it is a possibility, okay? It is, and that's why I do agree with the line. I do believe Rob Font should be the favorite here. I do like the line of minus 140 to a plus 120 Marlon Vera. But go ahead and give me Rob Font for 1,000 church coin, and then my prop is going to be Font by KO, TKO at 200 church coin.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I think it's a very contested matchup, and I like the matchup up a lot for Cheeto Vera. This is a very well-deserved matchup for him, finally getting a top 5 matchup here. What was Aldo ranked when that fight happened? I think it was like 7 or 8 or something like that. And then he fell back behind that, but he's been on an absolute tear since then. I like Cheeto a lot. I love his striking style, but like you said, you have the range of Rob Font. You have that jab. If Rob Font could fight at distance and keep the range going and keep that jab in Cheeto's face, I see Cheeto struggling with that jab.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be very interested. Can Cheeto get inside, make it dirty? Can he get in some clinch situations? Maybe throw a sub up? Cheeto's got fantastic jiu-jitsu as well. So would I be shocked if Cheeto Vera gets the victory, whether it's by finish or submission or just crazy head kick knockout or something like that? I would not be shocked at all. Cheeto Vera deserves this matchup. I do believe he does deserve a top 5 matchup, and I think he is potentially a top 5 contender. This is a huge test for him, but I agree with you, man. I'm going to bet on that jab of Rob Font. I'm going to bet on that length. I'm going to bet on that reach. And I think Rob Font gets it done over 5 rounds. I'm taking Rob Font for 3,500 church coin. And my prop bet for this main event is Font unanimous decision, 500 church coin. All right. Let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. We have Andrei Arlovski coming in at -135 to +115. Jake Collier. Are you shocked Arlovski's the favorite? No, I guess not, because he's been winning fights.
Yeah, he's been winning fights and looking great in the process. And this is another one of those situations where it's like, people are like, oh, he's old, he needs to retire. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? This guy's 43 and he's winning fights and looking good in the process. It's not like he's some old schlub where he's like not having good performances. I mean, he just beat Jared Vandera. What was that? February 12th, so 2 months ago via decision. You look at in 2021, he beat Carlos Felipe, Chase Sherman. His last loss was to Tom Aspinall, one of the top prospects right now in the UFC, with a very impressive win just last month. I mean, Andrei Arlovski deserves to be here, and he's on, a 4-fight win streak right now, or a 3-fight win streak. Give me Andrei Arlovski all day, man. I really like Andrei in this fight. I think he is the better fighter, obviously the seasoned, savvy vet. I'm going to go ahead and put 2,500 church coin on Andrei Arlovski for the win here. I think this is the best bet of the night.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, but I'm going to take Collier. I'm going to do a little bit different here. Is it the best odds ever at a +115? No, not really. If he was a bigger favorite, it would make me happier. But I think the streak has to end eventually. I think eventually the time clock has to catch up to Andrei one day. I mean, one day he can't just keep going on this streak.
You think Jake Collier is the guy to do it?
No, I don't know. I don't really think so, but I'm just trying to change it up a little bit.
Yeah,
but you never know. It's heavyweight. He could just land a bomb. It could hit in the button just right, and you never know.
And Collier's got a few submission wins, too.
Yeah, and he's good. So he's pretty well-rounded, and he's a big boy. So he might have a weight advantage over Andrei. If it goes 3 rounds, I'm taking Andrei all day, but hopefully I'm going to put some money on Jake Collier. I'll put 500 church coin on him at the +115. Let's see what he could do. Hopefully he can get Andrei out early and give me a little bit of a return there.
All right.
So let's move on to the next matchup.
I am fucking excited for this one.
Yeah, Andre Touchy-Feely at a -300 to a +240. Jordan Anderson Burrito. Ooh,
Burrito.
I don't know if I like this line. I think it's a little too far apart. I don't think Andre Feely should be a -300, but I'm going to take the +240 underdog of Brito because I think Brito's fucking good. He's got fantastic striking. He's got great jiu-jitsu as well. So if he's struggling on the feet, because Andre Feely looked fantastic in his last matchup. He looked like he's evolved his striking to entire new levels. The hands were crisp. The kicks were amazing. He fought from the outside so well. But if Brito is struggling on the feet, he has that jiu-jitsu to fall back on. He can maybe get a submission, take Andre Feely's back, get that rear naked choke. I don't know what happens in this matchup. I just don't think the line should be as far apart as it is. I think it should be a little closer. I wouldn't be shocked if Feely was like a -180, 190 to a +130 in Brito. So I just think the +240, in my opinion, it's too good of a line to not bet on. I'm going to take Brito in this fight. I'm hoping that jiu-jitsu shows out, or maybe he can find some success on the feet. I wouldn't be shocked about that either. Andre Feely has, he's looked really, really good. And then he had a matchup where he just kind of gets outclassed. Then he looks really, really good again for a few fights. Then he gets outclassed again. I don't think he's going to get outclassed by Brito, but I would not be shocked if this goes decision. It's a split. It's a very highly contested matchup, in my opinion. It's just a line is what throws me off a little bit. So I'm going to go with the big dog. I'm going to put 500 church coin on Brito.
Okay, yeah. Good breakdown there. And Brito is a great fighter. He had a really good I'm freaking mind blanking on who he fought last. But nonetheless, I like Andre Philly here. I think he's a wonderful striker. I think he's a great fighter. This one's, I do agree with you, though. The line is a little far. Minus 300 to a plus 240. I definitely think the line should be a lot closer than that. But go ahead and give me Andre Philly for 900 church coin.
All right. Let's move on to the next matchup. Jared Flash Gordon at a plus 125 to a minus 150. Grant Dawson. This is an easy fight for me to pick. I'm taking Grant Dawson. I just like Dawson a lot in this matchup. I think he's going to completely outclass Jared Gordon there, whether it's on the feet or the ground. I just think Grant Dawson is the more well-rounded fighter, so I'm going to take Dawson 500 church coin.
All right, yeah. I don't know. I don't know about this fight here, but go ahead and give me Dawson for 100 church coin. I'm gonna play this one safe because I just don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup. You never know. Darren Elkins versus Tristan Connolly. Darren Elkins coming in at minus 140 to a plus 120. The Damage himself is a favorite here against Tristan Connolly. I like this fight a lot. Tristan Connolly's got fantastic jiu-jitsu, but so does Darren Elkins. And if you think you're putting Darren Elkins out, think again, motherfucker, because you got to be something special to do that. But has the Damage taken too much damage over his career? He did get finished in his last fight. Is it starting to add up? Do we see Tristan Connolly coming in as the dog and getting the victory?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. My dogs are distracting the hell out of me. They're not. We're gonna take a second break off me. Quiet. All right, and we're back. I had to just do a quiet yell to my dogs because, goodness gracious, they won't shut the fuck up. I have a puppy, and he's just whining.
Look, Mason, we can take care. Me and Tabor can take care of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. But no, I'm going to go with Darren Elkins here. I mean, he is so hard to put away. He is coming in at the favorite, which is a bit of a surprise for me here, just because he has taken so much damage. But can Tristan Connolly submit him? I mean, we've seen Elkins get submitted before. It is definitely possible, but I'm going to go with Elkins here. Give me 500 church coin on Elkins for the win.
All right, we have the opening matchup of the main card. Christoph Jocko at a minus 172 plus 145. Gerald Meerschaert. I'm not shocked by the line here. I mean, I like Meerschaert a lot, but I mean, his record isn't the absolute best, even though he's got a lot of victories on that record, 34-14 to 23-5. Jocko. I just like Jocko too much in this matchup. I think he's going to beat Gerald Meerschaert. Meerschaert's got a chance, though. I mean, the line's a little closer than I thought it would be. Meerschaert is, I don't think his last fight was Chimaev, wasn't it? Or did he fight after that?
Yeah, he fought after that. He had a submission win over someone.
And he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's got fantastic jiu-jitsu. Would I be shocked if he gets a submission over Jocko? No, but Jocko's very good on the ground as well. He's got great submission defense. I just see Jocko winning on the feet here. And I wouldn't be shocked if Jocko got on top. He dominated Gerald Meerschaert there as well. So I'm going Jocko. I'm going to put 500 church coin on the favorite there.
Okay, before I get to my pick, this is breaking news. I have not confirmed this. I was trying to Google it, but Torrin Brown just came in and said, bad news, guys. Ferguson is out of the Chandler fight with injury.
Oh, fuck. That sucks.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know what they're going to do.
Are you kidding me?
You're going to freak out.
So it's Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. Short notice fight. You think McNuggets is going to take that?
No.
Yes, he would.
No.
This is what Chandler's been wanting. How much you want to bet Chandler?
Bro, I would bet you
Ferguson's
my left testicle that Conor would never take a short second fight or a last minute fight.
Chandler would, but Conor wouldn't.
Yeah, Chandler would for sure.
If they paid him enough.
No. There's no money on their son that would.
No.
It's been almost.
Dude, would you be shocked if Islam steps in on 1 week notice? Maybe they do 165 catch weight for that? Him and Chandler? Ooh.
That's interesting.
Keep us updated, guys. Not only just tweet at us or something. And when you hear the news, will Michael Chandler stay on this card? Very interesting to see.
It is Ramadan.
It is
right
what it
now,
is.
Though,
never mind. Yeah, it's definitely not happening then. That's definitely not
I don't think Islam's going to step in. Ramadan lasts a long time.
Yeah, it's a month.
Gracious. But yeah, that's a long time to fast. Let me tell you. The longest I've had. No, I'm not getting into that. But yeah, I'm going to go with Gerald Meerschaert here. He's just his jiu-jitsu is so good. It's so good. I mean, he had last year in 2021, he had 3 submission wins. And then in 2022, taking on Jotko, I think he's going to get a submission win here. Go ahead and give me Meerschaert. What did I put here? I'm going to take Meerschaert by 200 church coin.
All right, let's get into our parlays. So I'm going to do a 3-fight parlay this week. I'm going to have 2 favorites in there and 1 underdog. So hopefully it gives me a decent return. I'm going to take Rob Font, Jordan Anderson, Brito, and Christoph Jocko. They're my 3-5 parlay. I'm going to put 1,000 church coin on that. Hopefully that plus 240 gives me a big return there by taking Brito.
Nice. All righty. Yeah, my parlay here is Elkins, Andre Feely, Rob Font, and Andre Arlovsky for 750 church coin.
All right. Very exciting. Very exciting there. Is there anything you would like? Oh,
Yeah.
He says he's fucking with you.
Yeah,
Teron
I was
Brown,
gonna say,
I'm
I
just messing
can't
with you
find
guys.
anything.
LOL. Ferguson ain't injured. I'm just joking around. God damn it, Teron.
I was gonna
Turn
say,
Brown,
I
I'm
didn't
gonna.
find
If
anything.
I ever meet you, I'm gonna titty twister the fuck out of you, you bastard! How dare you? How dare you troll us? I was already like thinking of matchups in my head. I was preoccupied. I couldn't even focus on my last pick. So thanks a lot, Torn Brown. Oh, you dickhead! That's hilarious. But for anything else, hey guys, go on our YouTube channel. Go to the Pound for Pound Media Network. Go subscribe to the Have You Seen It podcast, Knights Book Club, and the Pound for Pound Media Network channel. We're up to 10 subscribers on that. We just opened that officially. Try to help us get to 15,000 subscribers for the Have You Seen It podcast and the Knights Book Club, trying to hit 100 subscribers there. If you guys read books, like books, me and my sister review books there every single week. Have You Seen a podcast? We're doing movie reviews, trailer reactions, movie news, all that kind of stuff.
What are you guys at with Knights Book Club right now for subscriber-wise?
We just started last month, so we're, I think, 36
No,
subscribers.
that's good, though. Remember, we had like 10 subscribers
For a
for like
long
a
time.
long-ass time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty
But,
good.
Did you
we're
guys
getting
see
there.
Joseph Bilotti's comment about Cyborg leaving Bellator? Is that why there was talks of her returning to UFC? Which
Maybe.
don't
I didn't
think
know
is
she
gonna
was
happen.
leaving. I wonder if her contract's up. I
You
wonder
know
if
where,
she's just a
you know
free
where
agent.
she might go? She might go to PFL.
Just to
on
fight Kayla?
Harrison.
Yeah, why not?
I know, dude.
But if that happened, it wouldn't be this
Hey.
year, though. If that happened, it wouldn't be this year because the PFL season already started. I know
Fuck it, let's break some
I don't
rules.
think it's
Let's
gonna
break
happen.
rules.
I don't
We're
think it's
breaking
gonna
rules
happen.
for that fight.
And if
boys.
it does happen, it won't be till 2023, and we finally see them possibly fight.
Oh,
together.
man.
At least it's
That's
happening.
fine with me.
It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all that talk, and look,
I would love it. I would love that. Kayla Harrison versus Chris Cyborg.
Sign me up. That's
Come
what should have
on,
happened.
man.
Should have happened already.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Greg Lilu in the chats. Marvin Vittora turned down Paulo Costa. Do you blame him after the last shit show?
No.
Fuck no.
Absolutely
It's going to be
not.
hard for Paulo Costa to get a fight at 185, especially.
Well, how can you as a middleweight right now take on a guy who look, I
outclassed you.
I have grace and understanding. Okay. I have grace and understanding for a guy occasionally, once or twice in your career, if you may miss weight by like 2 or 3 pounds. Sometimes shit happens. Sometimes you get illnesses. Sometimes you get sick.
No excuse.
I understand that. And that's fine. You have your opinion. I have mine. But when you are 20 plus pounds overweight, that tells me you didn't even try. You knew you weren't going to make weight. So for every other middleweight in this division, they're like, why would I risk my fight career? Why would I risk a fight for a guy who so clearly is too lazy to even attempt to make the weight? No. No, I don't blame Vettori at all. And not only that, but Vettori beat the shit out of him at 205.
Yeah.
So it's like, why do I need to take that fight? I have proven everything. One, I proved that I can beat you at light heavyweight, so you damn sure bet I can beat you at 185. And second off, like I beat the piss out of you. I don't need to take this fight again. You know?
I think I'd like to see Paulo Costa at light heavyweight anyway.
Yeah, he should be fighting that light heavyweight.
I think that should be the weight class for him. Because look, Paulo Costa, he's on a 2-fight skid, whatever. I don't care. I think he's still a great fighter, and I think he could do a lot of great things at the light heavyweight division. We just troll him a little bit because it is what it is. But
yeah, he said I think Costa had that planned. The greasy bastard. Yeah, it was weird because he moved it to 195 then to 205. It was just a lot of fucking going on there.
There
Some
was.
nonsense. Chris. If Keith
wasn't
Peterson
there,
wasn't there, so there was a lot of nonsense going on. Guys, if you haven't already, not only can you join the YouTube membership, but smash that like button. It helps us a lot in the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Go subscribe to Knights Book Club. Have You Seen It podcast, Pound for Pound Media, like Mason just said. Also, guys, if you want to help out the show more, like you don't have to send in super chats and all that kind of stuff every single time. Just share the podcast, whether it's this YouTube live stream, whether it's the audio only versions on all of your favorite audio only podcasting networks. Just share it on a social media account. Go leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Go leave us a 5-star review on Spotify. I believe you can do that as well. All of that stuff helps us out so much. You guys don't understand. Just share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter, anything. Your Gab, your Getter. Go follow us there as well. We appreciate each and everything you guys do for us already. But if you feel like throwing a little cheddar down, go check out our Patreon. We are going to do a Patreon exclusive podcast right after this. It's probably 20, 30 minutes. We're going to try to keep that one fairly short. We just did one last week as well. Those second services are what they're called. They're a whole lot of fun. It is just us just hanging out, talking about whatever we want. No restraints. It's a lot of fun there. We do just a little bit. We do call-in shows as well over there, guys. So if you want to call into the show, you want to be part of the podcast, you want to come on the podcast, we do make that happen through our Discord server. Our Discord link should be on our link tree down in the description. So go hit up the server as well. Let's start a community there, guys. Let's get a lot of chats going down there in the Discord server. Let's have a lot of debates about fights or just life in general. There's a whole lot of sections for you guys. Make sure you guys go check all of that stuff out. And the Patreon, guys, is $5 a month to get all that exclusive content. And if you want to help us out even more, we do have 2 other tiers. We have a $10 a month tier. That gives you all the content. It also gets you into our Church Coin betting series if you'd like to bet on the show alongside of us for the Church Coin belt. It has been a while since we had a Patreon subscriber come on to the show and bet with us. So if you guys want to do that, that's $10 a month, gets you into that competition. $10 a month also gives you a 15% or a 10% discount on our Teespring store. Go get yourself a face mask, a mug, anything. We have a lot of different designs on there. We have cool shirts and sweatshirts. Go check all of that stuff out. All of that money goes right back into the show. We are trying to make upgrades as soon as possible. We also have one more tier, guys, the $15 a month tier or the $20 a month tier, I believe. That gives you a 15% discount on the church merch. So go hit us up over at our Patreon / The Church of MMA, guys.
Mason, why don't you hold up your belt?
Yeah, hold that belt up, baby. Let's go. Guys, if you're following us already, make sure you go and do it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at The Church of MMA. Follow us, post some funny memes, try to make you guys laugh. Hit us up. Thank you, everyone that has showed up here tonight. We appreciate the fuck out of each and every single one of you down in the chats. Joseph Pilati, Teron Brown, Cosmo Reverb, Greg. We all saw Joseph. Shout out.
Peace.
Gotta go take care of these dogs.
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah.
Peace.